Hi, Bea, and hi, Thirsty Friends. Bea and I are back today, but we are not live, but we do have two special guests, Marvin and Annika.
Shari, I am shocked by this love story. This is
Mhm.
basically the premise is a first date proposal. Uh
Yes.
I don't even know if that can happen to anyone else but them. But we're gonna
It's an
ask.
it's an amazing story, guys. Please listen. You're gonna really want to hear this. It's kilig, but then somehow, intellectual. If that's a word you can use. I'm inspired. I feel like I can take concrete steps. I take this. So,
I
yeah.
know. I mean, like, I didn't expect to be analyzed or analyze them. Like, I thought this was a normal love conversation, but we're very excited, and I hope you guys will enjoy the story.
So from the very beginning, I was like, and this is a very cute story part of it, is like I was being very honest with her because I was like, what are you doing and stuff like that. And so she was like, okay, what do you do? And I go, and I don't lie, I told you, but like I'm a dentist. And the first thing she did, like this is through messaging, she goes, oh, by the way, I have this overbite.
Because my overbite is like an insecurity of mine. Since
Oh,
before pa talaga.
Because her older brother would always make fun of her, so she would be like, well, let me be honest with you, I
I have
have
an
an
overbite.
That is-
and she thought that was going to be a deal breaker. So
Wow.
stuff like that.
is that a deal breaker for a dentist? Like,
Actually,
if they
bad.
don't
Like,
have
if somebody.
Now that I know
Yeah.
him, it's one of the first things he notices about people, their smile.
I am a
Because that's
technical
that's what he does.
perfectionist dentist.
Yeah.
But
So parang ako, in fairness naman, sa smile ko kahit may overbite.
yeah,
Pasado. Yes.
Pasado.
as you can see, she has a very beautiful smile.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's big
There's
and
overbite and stuff
very
like that, but
warm.
It's very genuine. It's symmetrical. I mean, I
Me,
look beyond.
symmetrical. It's very technical.
I mean, but like yes,
Your smile is
Annika is very intelligent. She actually, to a fault, sometimes she will overanalyze things. So I
Yeah.
would say certain stuff like, do you believe in soulmates? And we would have this conversation, and I would send her articles. I was like, this is what soulmate, because for me, I'm curious on what soulmates are, because I wasn't intentionally going out there looking for soulmates. Okay. And some people will say you have multiple soulmates in your life. You can have a guy or a girl or a friend as a soulmate and all of this stuff. And I just kind of bring it out there because I want to talk about that with her. In her mind, she's like, wow, this guy's going very deep. Is he trying to say I'm his soulmate and that we're going to be forever? And and I'm just oblivious to it because all I care about is just talking.
Yeah.
The topic.
Talking
Yeah.
about the topic.
actually in my head. I'm like, soulmate talaga? Nag-uusapan.
And then what time? Agad-agad.
Oh.
Oh.
And it's so unusual for a guy to bring up that topic, right?
Yeah.
Soulmate.
Yeah, because it could scare someone. It could be things.
Yeah.
The other faux pas that I had was that one of my friends, and I have some really close friends, he was like, oh, your personality is like you should not have sex with someone right away. Hey, and you need to have 21 dates, not 21 days, 21 dates with someone before you had sex with them. And I was
Wow.
like, wow, that's so difficult. And I tried it with some previous relationships and it wouldn't get that far. But then the whole idea is, the concept is that you need to get to know somebody first, because it can just, like I said earlier, blur the lines, because you're just like, do I like this person because we had great sex, or do I like this person because of the connection that we made? Because you don't know, at least from your point of view or the other person's, if it's the same, because
Yeah.
you're still trying to figure things out.
He kind of like told me na, oh, by the way, I deleted all my dating apps.
Yes.
See, I like that.
It's not because I was, and that's the thing. My intention wasn't to get her to like me more by my actions that I share with her. Okay.
Mm.
It was just, I didn't feel it. By the way, matter of factly, I'm not doing that. And I told some of these girls that I was talking to, messaging, I was like, oh, um, just by the way, I met somebody. Okay, not to reject them, but to tell them so that they don't know that I'm not ghosting them or like the reason it being. I'm just a brutally honest person, not just with her, just with everybody.
I've gone through the ghosting and the guys who do not want to divide the relationship.
It didn't freak you. It didn't freak you out, Annika. The first right away, you're like,
Actually, I was. Because
Okay.
I was living with a roommate back then. One of my good friends, Lyle, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, totoo ba to? Parang too good to be true. So even Lyle was like, huh? Basta, at first it was like so weird. Nice, but weird and kind of nervous because this is too good. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But I was like, well, maybe instead of running away from it, because people would say na sana I meet a guy who's like this, sana like that, and then here is this guy who seems to be that way, and I was like, maybe instead of running away from it, see what it is, if it's real or not, because otherwise, how would you know? If you run away from it, do you run away from a real thing pala without even knowing? So if you keep on doing that, how will you ever find it? I remember prior to him flying to the Philippines, he did formally ask me on a date. He's like, oh, by the way, I just realized you've never been on a date.
Like, how many people are exclusive and never been on a date?
I know.
And then he's like, and then he goes on saying, what are you doing on the 21st with that?
Yes.
What are you doing on the 21st? They're like, syempre wala kasi pauwi ka din.
Yeah, it's the day after.
Like, can I take you out on a date? And I go, oh, okay. so yeah. So,
Actually, I feel like that is such an important thing these days because the actual first date, and I think people would appreciate it if they had like a set first date. And I think that's important after the fact. But to set these as a date, that actual act of asking someone on a date, it's not done as much. It's more of like, hey, let's go meet at so-and-so's party, or let's
hang
go
out.
hang out.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to use that term because that's too
Yeah.
So I decided let's have that first date at least so we can like mark the
Our first
beginning.
date, yeah.
And
Right.
because we
I
feel
love that. Oh my god, I'm so
Okay, so,
excited.
so, 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 so take us to the first date.
Okay,
I'm just
so we
excited.
met on the 20th.
20th on
20th.
Saturday. We arrived at like 4
Holy week
a.m.
pala siya, guys.
Yes, it
Holy
was
week.
Easter
Holy
Sunday.
week. So we met Black Saturday, was it?
The day before Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Saturday.
So my friend was videotaping. We met at the lobby of the lounge of
Shamfort.
Shangri-La Fort.
Yeah, Shamfort. And then the day after, which was Easter. Okay. So Easter Sunday yung first date namin.
Okay.
Wow.
Kaya siguro
Swerte pala mag-date ng Easter Sunday, Bea. Take note.
Next year.
Easter Sunday yung mga date. Ang swerte yan.
Please ask me out on Easter Sunday.
He didn't tell me pa where. Surprise daw. So I just was like, okay, just tell me at least what to wear kasi para naman appropriate to wherever we're going.
Right.
So I met him in a cafe in Fort. I picked it up with my car, and then he's like, "Do you want me to drive?" So I go, "Go ahead." And then he picked him up, and then he drove. Akala ko naman kung saan kami pupunta na napakalayo. Kasi surprise nga, he didn't want me to know where it was. And then sa Shamfort yung date namin.
Lapet.
Okay, at least.
Convenient.
Convenient.
And then,
Okay.
the other thing kasi that, I don't know if he mentioned to you, I was about to start a job in Shamfort. So he was asking me what haven't I tried yet in the hotel complex. And at the time, it was samba that I haven't tried yet. And then that's where he took me in samba. So we were in Samba. We had dinner there, and then after that, a guy approached us. This foreigner guy approached us after we ate our dinner, and then he was like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Golden Circle. It's like a membership program of the Shangri-La rewards program of the Shangri-La group. So he goes, I'm from the Golden Circle program. We'd like to comp your meal if you'd be willing to check out our sweets and give us feedback about it.
Wow.
So parang ako naman, swerte naman, nakalibre pa kami ng dinner.
Easter Sunday pa.
Easter Sunday, libre dinner. So parang ako, sige, give, why not? So he after we checked out, he escorted us to the suites, and then meron pa siyang palibreng wine, ganyan. And then, so check out the view. So he was talking a little bit about the suite, the views, whatever. And then, eto na. But he excused himself. And then, so kaming dalawa lang nandun sa suite. And that's where the vibe started to get weird. And then I was like, why am I nervous? This is so weird. And then he brings out a letter from his coat jacket, and then he said, read this. So I was like, sige. So I opened it, and it was an offer letter. So I was confused. He gave me an offer letter, and the way it was written nga, parang he was offering me a job, which confused me because I knew also at the time that he was really looking someone, an office manager for his clinic. So I was like, nag-offer ba yun sa akin? After I read it, pagtingin ko, he was already on his knees. And then he took out a box, and then he opened it, and it was a ring. And it was like, oh my God, ano to?
I have a few questions. One, how did he know what your ring size was?
Yeah.
How did he know? Actually, he guessed. Medyo maluwang the ring. So,
wow.
Yeah, he guessed. It's not super luwang. I mean,
number two, planted ba yung free room
yes,
check?
It was his
Obviously, Shar.
Galing.
It's so
Why
sweet.
to iron it out there? Para lang
So
malinaw.
yeah, the guy who said he was from the rewards program was a friend of his. Yeah, so at first nga, when I was checked, I was like, medyo shady pa this guy kasi he had a coat on, but he was wearing jeans. So in my head,
very Ryan Seacrest AI.
Mali yun.
Yeah.
So I dismissed it kasi inisip ko baka naman, I don't know, whatever.
It's the new
But,
look.
Casual Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, planted lang pala yun. So hindi siya totoong taga Shang.
When did you know that this is it, I'm gonna propose?
Well, remember that concept earlier, which is marry now, date later. So I was like, let's hurry up and get married because I already know that she's the one. With that concept, I was like, well, thinking in the future, well, if that's the case, she lives there, I work in the States, how are we going to be together? Because that was going to be an obstacle or a challenge. So it's like, how can we date? And if you know me, I'm like troubleshooter extraordinaire. I was like, we need to fix this. There's no way that we could continue to date virtually. And Annika even said later on, it was like, I knew that we were probably going to get married, but I didn't think that you were going to propose until maybe a year later. It was like, I have to meet your kids and yada, yada, yada. Those were all the issues that she had to overcome or at least, figure out. And I was like, I need to hurry up. I need to propose. In my mind, I'm like, these are the things that I have to do in order for her and I to be together. Okay. And I was like, let's hurry up and get married. So I would say within 3 weeks of meeting her, I was telling my friend, and I was traveling. I went to a music festival in France, in the Alps in France, because I'm like free, right? I just do what I want. And I was like, talking to strangers over there, and I meet these girls, and I go, what do you think of this ring? I'm about to propose to this girl. And I was just showing them diamonds and rings and all of this stuff. So I knew really early It's just a matter of how I'm going to approach, because yes, there is some risk of what if she says no, what if I come too forward, but I guess I was so sure and so determined at that point, and now
This
it
is
was just a
so,
matter of
like,
This is
amazing.
crazy.
Amazing
This
to me how sure you are right away. Like,
Yeah,
my
I mean,
mind's blown.
I just love the idea. It's like you're sure about the person, but the whole idea of like let's get married and date after, because you have your whole of the rest of your life anyways to date. And I have to ask, because we've discussed Marvin, like why you proposed. How about you, Annika? What made you say yes?
Oh, at first I was like, wait, and then
the shock
was so
was
shocked.
real. I'm gonna say it's not like she said yes and jumped on me and go give me a big hug. That's probably
I was
not.
like,
What was the reaction? Like, just what were you feeling? Like
I was
first
like,
date?
oh my god,
No, that's what I said
wait.
only happened about 20 times.
And then
She had to
I
sit down.
pulled him. Yeah, I pulled him to the couch. I was like, let's talk about this. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
And then he just like reminded me about, we can date our real lives afterwards. And I was like, yeah, actually that is true. And that's how it's supposed to be anyways. You're not supposed to get married and not do anything anymore and just grow old and be bored with each other, right?
Mm.
The ideal is get married and grow together, because usually, and then I also came from a 4-year relationship to that. So in my
Yeah.
head, it's really not about the length of the relationship to know if your marriage is going to be successful.
Marvin, you mentioned that strong connection. Annika, like, why do you think there was such a strong connection between the two of you? Because,
guess
like, yeah,
It's really more of like we were at the same life stage now. I think that's what
Okay.
it is.
Yeah.
We were both enough of the BS already, or the pretending, or the.
It's not the fact that I was my age or her age. It's not like everybody is going to have these strong connections when they turn 39 or 40. I don't think that's it. I think we need to get deeper into what matures you. Okay. And I feel like I
'Cause you
was the
can
same
you
age
don't get
mentally.
mature because of age. It's because of experiences that
Yeah.
you go through.
But what exactly is the concrete explanation of when you know? What is it that you know? What is it that you feel? Like, can you give us
What
like a
are we
specific?
I think that's what people want. So they want to know the
Like
tip or the
Or
quick
what to look
the
out
signal
for.
or the sign.
yeah.
And for me,
Was
I'm
there.
a very like an engagement is an event, which is really a symptom of which it should be of someone's love and / connection. Okay. If you are always digging to not the root cause, but the real reason, okay, the other stuff shouldn't matter. It's like, how long is your engagement? And then it's natural for people to try to compare, like, oh, I was with this person for 4 years and now I'm with this person. It's so easy to find comparisons, and I think people get hung up on comparisons, and I think if you just kind of look deeper and try to figure out what are those, the connection is the key. And why do you have that connection? I think that a lot of people stay together and get married because of, I think it's a negative, is they realize how long they've been together and they don't want to waste whatever little they invested or a lot they invested in. So they just go around. And I think it's in Annika's story, and it's like she was in 2 long relationships. And I think she valued her time, but just was like, I already paid for it, so I might as well get something out of it. And that has like a settling type of mentality.
Yeah.
Where
You talked about like a lot of people settle, or they've invested so much time so they feel like they need to commit. If people will get married and really commit, what would be the bedrock of a good relationship, like that lifelong romance and partnership?
Communication for me. Just being open and honest.
Yeah, that's communication is good, but it's still difficult, even between us.
There's
at
still
this
stuff
stage.
like
we haven't really uncovered yet.
Yeah.
So we're not perfect, but we're striving for perfection. There are so many different levels of how to communicate, but the bottom line is that, and we read our own vows, and I just told her, it was like, in my vow, I said, I'm not going to put you up on a pedestal. I'm not going to do everything to please you, but I'm going to respect you, and I'm going to respect, who you are as an individual. That for me is more important, because I personally don't like this attitude of, you're my better half, or you're things that you are in turn putting yourself below somebody. I respect her more as an individual than my wife.
Thank you so much, Marvin and Annika. So, Bea, what did you learn from this amazing love story today?
So many, but my favorite was the 21-day theory, where you have to wait 21 days to get really intimate with someone. And I think it's not just a number. I think it's important to take your time,
Yes.
but not waste your time, if that makes any sense.
It's a balance. It's a
How
take
about
your
you?
time, but don't waste it. What did I learn? They did talk a lot about communication, and sometimes it can sound so cliche, but it's evident that it works. And I also like that they pointed out that there is such a thing as over communication. So I think communication, but productive communication, is key.
Yeah, and I
That's my
think
main
that boils
takeaway.
down with what they said, really. It's like you don't need to put your partner in a pedestal. You just have to respect them.
But somehow I put myself on a pedestal and respect myself all at the same time.
Well, I hope that someone will bring you down from your pedestal.
Just kick me off there. Like, "Eska dyan."
So thank you guys. Next week's episode will keep you posted, but stay updated by going to our website thirstyand30.club and check out our Spotify and YouTube account thirstyand30, and lastly subscribe to our newsletter thirsty30.substack.com for more advice.
And also to add, to get this full conversation, listen to it, because this is just a little good sneak peek of this intense conversation. Stay thirsty, everybody. See you next week.
Thank you.